One.
We'll call the meeting to order at 7:01, and we will have Deputy Mayor Rocky Vitale lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item 3.
The motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess is approve the minutes of the regular meetings of May 5th, 2026, June 2nd, 2026, and the minutes of the special meetings, May 28th, 2026, June 2nd, 2026, and June 29th, 2026. Each member received copies for review.
All right, any questions or discussion?
Yeah, why do we have so many meetings?
Nancy? Oh, okay. Was over the, there's seriously scheduled what, 6 week periods?
Well, May through June.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Board of Mayor and Burgess approved the monthly reports of June. Each member received copies for review.
Any questions on the reports? All right, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I am not going to spend any time on opening comments tonight. We have 3 presentations and a lengthy agenda. So we will go first to public comment. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? If there is, come up to the podium, state your name and address. If you're on Zoom and you want to make a public comment, raise your hand, go in the chat box. Make it clear that you'd like to be heard. Jim?
Nothing.
All right, last call for public comment. All right, we'll go to item 7. Kyle Kelly. Kyle.
Thank you. Yep, I'm on. Thank you, Jim. I'll keep it very short. I sent everybody out my agenda. I know you guys have a long meeting. We have a lot of exciting things going on, working through some challenges, and I'll leave it at that if there's any questions.
All right, do we have any questions for Kyle? He says to those in the audience, not to touch the ambulance for monthly report. Any questions? Rocky, you're good?
Good, thanks.
All right, thank you, Kyle. All right, we're gonna go to item 8. Now, we're gonna have a presentation from the consultant we've been working with. We've been very happy with their work. It deals with our pedestrian bridge, which, as you know, would be at the end of Lover Avenue, going under the railroad tracks, across the river, to what will ultimately be a municipal parking area. And it's an exciting project, and we've been making some progress. So this tonight is an update, and there is one or two decisions we want the board to weigh in on and confirm the thoughts of the group. So all right, let's move forward. Come on up. And are you set up on the computer? Jim?
Yes,
Okay.
so I think it's that one, it should be,
No, it's not that.
Same as the hand up?
no, I have it. Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
You extra copies. Thank you all for having me and you know, our presentation tonight is part of your big agenda. Go ahead to the next slide. As the mayor mentioned, I'm here to present on the East Side West Side connectivity project. I'm gonna start and just lead with where we're at and what our current recommendation is, and then kind of walk you through the backup and some of the different engineering work we've been performing over the last 6 months or so. So our recommendation, and what you're looking at on this slide, is a little map on the bottom right. That little street you can see on the top left portion of that map is Rubber Avenue, the end of Rubber Avenue. And then the main view of the drawing is what we call an elevation view. So we're looking north through the Naugatuck River essentially, and this is our proposal for a new pedestrian bridge, pedestrian and bicyclist bridge over the river, and then a tunnel, if you will, a box culvert underneath the railroad. And so we've evaluated several different structure types, several different alignments of how the path could kind of traverse these two obstacles. And we are gotten to a point where we think that this is the preferred alternative. And that's because it's essentially the most cost-effective, aesthetically pleasing way to facilitate this direct connection between the west and east sides of the river. And so I'm going to walk through a few slides that kind of illustrate that process. So the project is started and was funded by a Reconnected Communities grant. The main purpose of that program, right, is to facilitate severed connections, severed communities. So in our instance, we've got a fairly significant water course in the Naugatuck River, and then the railroad, how it was built up on that embankment, flood control infrastructure up high. And that really creates what we call a super block, where there's no ability to cross from east to the west side of town for almost half a mile between the two roadway groups. And so the purpose of this is to create a safe, direct connection for pedestrians and bicyclists between the relocated train station, the growing TOD, and what we hope to see on the east side of the river with some of the Naugatuck River Greenway that Megan's going to talk more about, as well as other exciting happenings on the side of town. And the program itself is meant to support combinations of public and private investment, which we obviously again have here with the TOD and literally being built, and the work that's gone into the station, and then of course what the towns put in as well. You can go to the next slide. So what this current phase of our project is doing is completing preliminary design. That's about 30% if you view it on a 0 to 100% range. Complete the National Environmental Policy Act documentation. So this is essentially what allows for the expenditure of federal funds on a transportation or any other project. So we'll get our clearance there. And we're going to develop some studies that are going to support future grant applications by defining the quantitative benefits of the project. We want to see how many people are going to be using it, how many of those bicyclists or pedestrians might be taking cars off the road, taking some air quality measures. How can providing this bridge help increase the viability of that transit-oriented development? So what we're trying to do is essentially provide the borough with that case so that as you go to seek additional funding, it's all kind of laid out why the project should move forward. So to start with, we did kind of take a half step back and look at a few different locations. And so on this map you see here on the left, that's a drawing of the relocated train station, right? So that's in construction as we speak. And so we looked at 3 different sites. One, the one that we've ultimately recommended all the way at the southern end, essentially aligned with Rubber Avenue and Hotchkiss Street. We looked at 2 intermediary ones, and ultimately, alignment number 3, we just felt it was too redundant with Maple Street. We weren't seeing enough potential usership being drawn off of Maple Street. And number 2, it's just kind of in the middle of 2 parcels. It's just kind of not really well connected, in particular on the east side, to connect to Hotchkiss Street and then to facilitate that type of community connectivity that we're looking for. So we brought this decision to the public in a public meeting in April, and all essentially supported the moving forward with alignment number 1 being more southerly of the locations. So then, since then, we've been focused on what we call a structured type study. That's where we start to get into some of the weeds in terms of engineering and looking at different configurations. And so the first primary variable we're dealing with here is what type of bridge we're going to put over the river. That's the more complex engineering feat, about 185-foot span, which it's not, groundbreaking, but it's more than your typical, when you call up a prefabricator and have them slap it 40-foot bridge, right? It's a little bit bigger than that. So there's a few options that fit this desired span length. We essentially settled on two for evaluation. The leftmost here, which you may have noticed is the one we're recommending, is more of that arch structure. It's got some cross bracing, but essentially it just has these two main arch trusses on the outside that support the bridge. The other one that fits this type of span length is called the gateway truss. It's a little different. As you can see, it's much more rectangular, and it actually has a cross brace across the top. So we found it to be a little bit less aesthetically pleasing. And frankly, because of that cross brace, it costs a little bit. It's got more material in it. The reason we wanted to consider it is it has a lower depth below the trail surface. Because of that extra steel, it only goes 2 feet below the road surface depth or the walking surface depth, whereas the capstone goes 3. So we wanted to vet that out and see how that worked with our hydraulic clearances. We need to be 2 feet above the 100-year flood elevation on the Naugatuck River. And we then, after we go across the river, we need to go under the railroad. And so we need to provide a minimum clearance. We don't want the rails to be what's called direct fixated on the top of this culvert. That's more costly, really difficult to maintain, and ends up in actually probably a more expensive structure because we have to beef it up to handle vibration. So the desire is to have the railroad tracks sit on ballast, stone, earth, that handles more of that impact loading so that it protects the box culvert from that. And so we wanted to evaluate a couple of different heights for our bridge under the railroad. We want it to be invited. We don't necessarily want to start and have it just be the bare minimum of 8.5 feet. So we looked at whether we could provide a 10-foot headroom, 9-foot headroom, or that minimum. And if you go to the next slide, we ultimately found that in order to provide a 10-foot ideal headroom with our capstone structure, that's the one that goes to 3 feet down, we'd have to do this little zigzag thing to get down from being high enough to be over the 100-year floodplain and then to get down to get a full 10-foot. And ultimately, we didn't think the zigzag is really a good idea. We think it's more difficult to use. Bicyclists would have to dismount to make the transition. And plus it just costs more. We essentially have to build a flat platform with a retaining wall on the railroad side to create that space. So in evaluating these alternatives, we found that the straight through alignment, the more direct alignment, but with that more cost-effective capstone, we can still provide about 9 feet of headroom for the pedestrians and bicyclists going through the tunnel. So not the bare minimum, not that full 10 feet, but we found that it just provides that best balance of being a cost-effective solution, providing some of those aesthetic benefits. We think that arch structure is a little bit more nice to look at than the rectangular one. And for all those reasons, that's what got us to the recommendation that I led things off with. And so from this point, moving forward, we're looking to gain support for that recommendation to go with the capstone structure type on the direct connection. You can go to the next slide. And that would allow us to move forward into the preliminary design phase. That's our next level of generating an engineering plan set and refining our costs. And then to finalize our NEPA categorical exclusion. So that's the thing that'll free this up to essentially launch into a final design phase. And we'll be completing those studies I talked about, looking at how many people might get out of their cars, how many people may now come to the Naugatuck station if they can park a little bit more easy and get there from with this new bridge. We'll be having one more public meeting in the fall as we get a few more of our designs refined, some more visuals for the public. And then this phase is planned to conclude by the end of the calendar year, so the end of December 2026. So we're planning on providing our engineering drawings to W and the group to review in mid-October. And at the same time, we're working through that NEPA categorical exclusion clearance so that we can have a draft submitted to the federal agencies at the end of October, which gives us about 60 days to work through any comments or questions they have before we are wrapped up at the end of the calendar year. So that's what I had to present today. Happy to address any questions.
Question.
Is the culvert arch or is it square?
No, it's square. It's square. We're really just so it's all about getting it down, and because the railroad is essentially flat above it, we don't really gain much from the arching, and it does create more of a inviting environment when you look at it as a pedestrian, say at night walking towards it. If you get the illumination, it just kind of creates a more inviting environment.
Does the design of the bridge allow for lighting?
Yes. Yes, we think that's a really important part of this. We typically don't get into the lighting design until that final design phase, but either of these alternatives would support not just the bare minimum, but like I think with all part of this, and I kind of glossed over it on the goals slide, but I think there's an understanding this is a bit of a signature structure in the town, and in particular at night to try and encourage use. We do want it to be well lit. That's very cool.
All right, so we don't need a vote, but before proceeding, we wanted everyone to make sure we're on the right track, moving forward with the capstone.
We
Yes.
talked with the police department about how to keep the tunnel piece of it safe. Every single,
We haven't yet, but
Right.
but we will.
all right,
It's not how long is the tunnel? Not that long.
It's about 80 feet. Yeah.
80 feet?
Yeah. It's a good question, and to your point, it's something that usually gets factored in a little bit later.
yeah.
What's the decking on the bridge?
So a lot of times it's actually like a wood. It can be either what we're looking at, either asphalt or like a stained hardwood, which tends to be pretty popular on these bike ped trails. It's long lasting. It's protected from the environment, and the asphalt ends up having to be replaced every kind of 5-10 years depending on use. So these kind of timber decked bridges have been very popular for.
Did they look at AZAC at all for the decking or no? Or would it be all wood?
It would probably, the bridge itself would probably be all wood, and then it would transition to concrete once it gets off of the concrete or asphalt, once it gets off of the bridge structure, and we're just in the road that tunnel.
So would there be any problem with plowing it, getting the snow off of it?
No, it would be wide enough. It would be designed to accommodate the load requirements of a small plow vehicle. I mean, typically we expect these 10-foot, 8 to 10-foot trails to be able to be plowed. It would be a decision, I think, for the town to decide whether they want to commit to plowing it. The truth is you don't have to. If it's turned a multi-use trail or a shared use path, you wouldn't have to plow it in the winter. But there's nothing about the design of it that would necessarily prohibit it, because it would have ADA access. You'd be able to drive up a ramp to get to it. So theoretically, you could plow it, but still, I think the decision to be made about whether the town wanted to commit to kind of plowing it, keeping it open 24/7.
We wanted to design so that it plowed.
Yep, it absolutely can be plowed.
So then if somebody happens to have an illness or go down on the bridge, you'd be able to fit an ambulance backing up to them
Yeah,
as a regular vehicle?
that's right. Yeah, and in particular, that was another reason I think we didn't like the alternative with the cross bracing. That's much more limiting headroom on the bridge over the river itself.
Rainwater. Mention hardwoods. What kind of drainage is gonna keep us from, as we walk along this wood floor in the rain, losing traction and.
The bridge will be pitched, so there'll be basically it'll have a kind of arch profile where there'll be a high point in the middle, and then the bridge itself will be crowned, so the water would drain to the sides, kind of wouldn't be a gutter condition, it would kind of be an open condition where it should basically just flow off into the river. And then the bridge will have like a longitudinal flow as well, so a raindrop that lands on the bridge should get off the bridge. The drainage design will support that.
What's the actual width of the bridge this way?
10 feet.
10 feet.
That's pretty standard multi-use path. You could go to 8 feet, but that's kind of an undesirable. Yeah.
By the way, ACOM meets with our engineers, design team regularly, so it's a lot happening. Oh, okay. All right, so I guess your direction is to see 4 feet ahead,
Perfect.
okay?
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have 2 more project presentations in Kleinfelder. Megan, do you want to start with the Greenway or Hillside Avenue? Leave it up to you.
We can start with the Greenway since it kind of goes along
Yeah.
with.
Okay, good.
Pretty much there. Sorry, I didn't.
By the way, Megan, has been promoted in Kleinfelder. She's risen up near the top of the ladder. She's been working with us regularly. She's doing great, and so, we're proud of you and happy. So, let's see how you made out.
It's good. Yeah, so the mayor said, my name is Megan Patton. I work with Kleinfelder. I've been working with the borough for the past 5 years or so. One of the projects we'll be talking about today is the Greenway Trail Phase 2, which extends from Maple Street Bridge all the way down to Greenfield. This is a LOTSIP funded project, so your local transportation capital improvement program, and there's also funding for the design partially through the DEP recreational trails grant. So this here is just your overview of the proposed trail in green, as well as some roadway improvements along Greenfield. The main goal here is to keep the trail as close to the river as possible, which is going to go through the corridors, behind South Main Street and Church Street. Next slide. Okay. So these are some example design elements that we have here, showing some of the decorative fencing, some artwork that we might look at underneath the Salem Street Bridge, as well as just your standard landscaping features and some focal points that we have along the trail. Slide. Or thanks, there's a word.
I took looking.
There's a certain.
Yeah, so you have, it's different than.
Yeah, it's just, you know, they're the one pulled up, but.
Vegas,
Yes.
take us through your handout,
Okay.
and then Jim will do it the best he can to find the
I
side.
think I resent it yesterday. So. Alright, so while Jim's working through that, the next page on your handout would be bank clearing and maintenance, and that's our first step here for construction will be removing any dead unsightly trees, any invasive species along the bank. We'll want to limit disturbance to the riverbank itself and make sure that the slope is stable for our restoration efforts. Along the trail, we'll be clearing any limbs so that we have a 9-foot height clearance for bicyclists and travelers. And then we'll also work on relocation of some of the light poles in that. On the next slide, you have an overview of our easements that we'll be investigating. So there are some existing easements that we're aware of, and we'll need to propose a couple of more of those properties along South Main Street. If you go to the next slide, this covers our trail sections. So the narrowest point we have along the trail is at the start near Maple Street Bridge and behind Burgess Car Shop. So within that existing easement, we'll be able to get a 7-foot trail width with some buffer on either side. The
One of the
standard.
people that's working in the office that's working on the Greenway.
Your microphone's on, Mike. Just sorry.
So standard is 8 feet minimum, but for this constraint, we'll make sure that we have the height, so users are aware. section. So from there, it will expand the width 8 foot to 10 foot as we get farther south. We'll have wood guardrails to separate the trail from any vehicles and parking areas, as well as decorative fence for any protection from the steep side. So on the next slide, we're factoring into our design that pedestrian grid crossing. So we're going to just keep that specific landing area temporary, knowing that AECom and the design will come back in the future to lower to grade. There might be some type of stairs and ramp down. So that area specifically, we're keeping in mind that it would be just temporary use of bridge users. So on the next slide, this is a review that talked about this a little earlier, but underneath Salem Bridge, there's an opportunity to have some unique artwork, lighting, signage, such as the new mural on Burgess Road, or the other examples here. And as we get into this area near Greenfield, there is that roadway that we want to maintain. Right now, it is below standards, so we are factoring in design to figure out the best way to accommodate both the trail, the road, and then any considerations for the fields, which you'll see on the next. So
on this slide 7,
yes,
the yellow part,
yes,
that's the trail that's going to be on partially where the road is.
correct. That
It's not
represents.
going on the other side of the. Oh, it can't go on the other side of that side.
We want to keep it as close to the river.
Oh, okay. I was picturing on the right side of that, the other side.
And maybe backwards. But I believe we want to keep it.
Well, the artwork will be on the existing bridge.
Correct.
And the trail will be wherever you decide to put it.
Correct. So on the next slide, you can see there, which I think, yeah, that shows the extension. I think you're right, that was pretty much the image there, but
They're looking.
the trail will come along the river there, and then we'll have the roadway. We'll need some offset, and then we'll also try and balance parking as needed. And one of the things we're working through now is shifting the fields and then seeing.
I'll make sure they're gonna shift the fence on that field.
It depends. I think the northern field is a little tighter. And it depends, again, we're evaluating, if we don't retain parking along that stretch, we can shrink it less. But if we need to do parking plus.
I mean, are you not looking at reducing the length of the outfield by 10 feet, are you?
We actually just started discussing that stuff, or Maven brought it up the other day, so I brought up the same thing, that right field line, and you can't really push that line. If we do need to gain some parking, my thought was, and again, we're only really designing.
Yeah, I get it.
Change, but grab some of that center field maybe that's way out there, but then we can look at the soccer field. So
Which I can see the center field portion with the right field portion.
right
The
field,
line is already shorter than the.
Megan was just starting to look into some measurements, talking about it yesterday, so it's still early, but I
Yeah.
agree with you.
And you had indicated you had perpendicular parking. They're gonna remain, well, most of the people that go down there and park, they wanna back in so that they can watch the tanks them sitting in their car, and it's not gonna be an issue, correct? Just like you.
That's the amount of second.
Well, I'm saying,
Yeah, no, those are things we're still considering in design, right? So we want to factor in, what's the best use, both for the fields as they are now, and then future development. We ultimately want to build the trail to its maximum capacity, so.
are you gonna try, I'm sorry, are you gonna try to go into the river wall, with any of this,
The northern part, there's not enough room.
Yeah.
For the southern part, there might be a little bit of room. We'd have to explore that to see. As we get through that, it's definitely less steep. Accessible.
Thank you.
Okay, so on the next slide there, this is just highlighting some overlook opportunities, so users can sit down, have a picnic, might add things like bike racks or repair stations, water fountains if they work out with the infrastructure we have. And then there's examples there in Lincoln Park, this one is just other planting areas where we can add those unique features. That'll be the slide. I think we've gone over this already, but again, just more examples of some of the design elements that would be incorporated. Perfect. And then on the last slide, well, second to last slide here, and it's just a budget update. So I'm working with Danielle and now to get the updated construction costs over to NDCOG. So lots of will cover the construction for this project, as well as the construction observation, while the borough is responsible for the design fee and the construction.
So just remember, through all lots of projects, just like everywhere, we pay for the design, but all construction costs, including some of the amenities, come out of the lots of the program. So this project will be very similar to what we're having.
Yeah, and I just want to add that 0.44 engineering design cost is already covered. We have it covered through a Connecticut Deep grant. So really we're just looking at construction phase services that I have to fund the gap for with a 0.13.
So under the bridge, where the highway goes over, there's drains that drain the highway. And during heavy rain, it's got, like the previously had been done. Is that gonna be a problem? Because during heavy rain, that pours water onto the roadway.
We'll look at it more closely. Right now, we're just going from concept to preliminary design, but our main goal for drainage is to retain the existing drainage. We're not changing the elevation of the road or the trail. Keep street flow and any areas like that, we'll look at closely to see if we can capture it in a different way. And then just the last slide there is our design schedule. As I mentioned, we're a couple months into this point, so just working through the preliminary design. As this is a lots of project, it does require review by another engineering firm. So NDCOG will take care of that review once we get through our 90% design phase. And then we anticipate as long as LASIP and that schedule is in line, we should be able to have the render for next year.
Yeah, I know that that we talked about future of that parcel down there. And I understand that long term, those fields are no longer going to be there, and it's going to be more for development. Is this roadway going to be designed in a way for the future where we can anticipate what the current development will be there?
Yeah, the answer is yes. Whatever design we choose is going to be built around the greenway. So, and I don't think the greenway will interfere with Wakefield and the Implant. And we can work around it on an interim basis.
Yeah.
But other than your question on Wakefield, I think it all fits easily. Wakefield is going to require some measurements.
Yeah.
But which one is having their opinion, so
All the line there, I got it. It's not there, there's love it. Yeah. It's stated.
Well, that's what it is planned.
Any other questions on the green subject?
oh, this we'll keep going. You'll report to our internal group regularly, come here periodically, and keep us abreast.
Yes. As Jeremy said, the next big topic of discussion is that configuration unit. So we're looking at that now.
Okay, so we'll go to Hillside Ave reconstruction. Now, let me just start off with Hillside Ave. This is gonna be a LASIP project. So we pay for the design, LASIP pays for most of the rest, but not all of the amenities. Now, we have a brick road, we have lots of options. We're not here tonight to pick a final design, but there are lots of ways to approach this. So Megan, why don't you, and by the way, we have money set aside in our capital bond for this project. So we don't have to, we're in pretty good shape so far, but we don't have enough of the numbers to evaluate that. But why don't you tell us where we are right now with it? And also start off with the storm. Remember that everyone here on this board started with the stormwater drainage issue, which you've been working on for years. And that also ties into the issues that we've had on Meadow Street. And with that background, we're designing a project, but now we're taking it up to the next level where what's it gonna look like when we're all done? So with that background, why don't you take it away?
Yes, so just a quick agenda, we'll go over some design approach from the historical nature and the experience that we've done so far, then we'll go into cost allocations and schedule. So as the mayor said, Kleinfelder's been involved with the Hillside investigations for several years now. I think back in 2022, I was out in the field doing CCTV of all those drainage pipes, figuring out the drainage network. Downstream, we added in the infiltration basins in the town of Green to help capture some. But the improvements for the drainage in this area specifically are to capture from Fairview Ave and Terrace Ave, some of those, the drainage from those steam slopes up there. So we're looking at improving the infrastructure that's existing and making sure we do capture as much as possible to the current design standards. Still hopefully back to that sentence. Yep, so along with the drainage improvements, we're looking at evaluating the existing brick to see how we can repurpose it. It's likely not suitable to be reached through the brick itself, but options for incorporating sidewalk, crosswalks. You see we have I call it the jug handle there off to the right, as well as a potential bandstand. So one of our first parts of design will be figuring out if we can repurpose those bricks and how to do that through the next semester. Along with that, we'll keep the features of the downtown, granite curbing, brick sidewalk, upgraded lighting. Next slide. We have the breakdown of the cost allocation. As the mayor mentioned, the lot tip will cover the majority of the work. There are a couple of features that were those aesthetic, historical features that will need to be covered by the road and construction. So lots of covers the drainage, the roadway itself, standard curbs and sidewalks that are used, fencing, lighting, features, and then the costs that would need to be covered by the borough would include into brick features, sidewalk, jug handle area of landscape, which is outside of the team. On the next slide, this is our estimated project budget. So the lot tip covered portion, $5.56 million. For the borough covered portion, right now, we're looking at engineering design, which is like $1.42 million. And then in the future, we'll have to cover the costs of the bricks themselves, as well as the construction grade services, the inspections. And then finally, the design schedule here. So once we have approval to award, we'll do kickoff, begin survey in August. And again, going through that lots of process, we hope to have this ready to bid as well in spring. Any questions?
We've been talking about this for 25 years. And back then it was like 2.5 million. Yeah, and so when I saw the number, I said, holy crap. 6.75, that's still an estimate, but I'm anticipating we have to pick up the cost of the bricks for the sidewalk.
Wait, so if you look here, preliminary number.
Yes.
Design and amenities about $1 million. Now we put 800,000 in our capital bond.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say at the moment, we're 200,000 short, and that would have to come from capital reserve. So we're, adequately funded to do that now, but there's a lot of steps between now and the end.
So I guess the question will be, what's the cost differential between just a standard sidewalk versus brick sidewalk?
Correct.
Yeah, that's that 0.65 million estimate.
The cost differential for us is 100%. It's
Yeah,
concrete, we pay nothing. Brick, we pay
That's
brick over the concrete.
That's the point I wanna get at, is what's the cost differential?
it's about 600.
600,000 to do brick.
So that's why we're shying away from a complete brick road because.
Yeah, I get that.
Because the price of that.
Yeah.
We do want you to look into how many of the existing bricks can be utilized.
Yes.
So it's a variety of opinions in the community about that. From people who, seem pretty sharp, so we do want you to look into that, maybe.
Yeah, we'll find a way to use them some, just where is the question.
And I think from a historical perspective, we want to use some of those bricks somewhere, even aesthetically, no matter what.
Yes.
And we talked about possibly stamping the section in front of, going up near the school area to a brick look that is maybe a beige color or whatever, instead of just like we did on the bridge.
Yeah, right, and stamp concrete.
Yeah. Stamp concrete or stamp asphalt, whatever.
Yeah,
You're talking about this area, right?
well, that would be a perfect area for what we're just not talking about.
Yes. I think that's definitely something that Jim and Jeremy would talk about, and we can explore that concept design piece.
Maybe brick could be used as bandstand.
Right.
The people that continue to talk about hillside, which I understand, road's terrible. But I don't think they really understand what's involved with this road. I mean, it's substantial. And they don't have a clue on what the price is. Well, now we have a general idea that $6.5 to $7 million. It's not cheap. And so once the people understand about that, maybe they'll understand what it's all about.
Well, it's all about stormwater.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's taken us 25 years to do
That's
it.
why the bricks are the way they are.
Yeah.
Stormwater.
Yeah.
By the way, next month, or pretty soon, we're gonna have Richter and Segan, landscape architect, talking about, Lewis Sill Park, which adjoins this project. So, and that's also part of the balance, so, that project will actually get started right away and, over time get finished. But, over the next several years, Hillside Ave, the parks, will get major upgrades. Will be used. Don't forget, this area was designed by Frederick Olmsted, the #1 landscape architect in the United States of America. So, the area has been poorly utilized over the last 100 years. And it's not that difficult to bring it back. We're gonna bring it back.
Mr. Armstead can stop spinning in his grave like a maze.
Exactly.
Very good, thank you.
Right here.
All right. Jim K,
Yes, sir.
can you look at the list of participants? Is also up there?
Yes. Well, there's a Paul, I don't know if that's Paul Monco.
Why don't you ask them if it is?
It looks beautiful.
If the Paul that's in the audience, can you raise your hand if you're Paul Monco? Yes.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go to item 11, downtown enhancements. And we're gonna start with the crests. So first of all, we've already approved 3 crests. One at the train station that's been installed, one at the Historical Society, and one near the green for the downtown Stanford White buildings. We're thinking about doing 3 more. One would be where the new road is for the new train station. The preliminary thought, and we're here today to talk about those thoughts, is that it should be dedicated to the US Rubber Company because it's gonna be in the exact spot where the building was, where the road sits. We are thinking about one coming up Maple Street as you approach the green, which we can talk about tonight in more of a welcome to Naugatuck type theme, but could be anything. And lastly, we want one on Church Street that is going to require some thought. Could be the future, it could be the past, it could be a nostalgic tribute to the way Naugatuck used to be, could be the future, it could be anything. So I think what we want to do tonight is talk among ourselves about that and try and give some direction to Paul Munko so we could start thinking about some designs and then come back here and we can talk further and make a selection. So let's first start with the new train station, the new road, right in the location where US Rubber Company and then Uniroyal used to be. What do we think about a tribute to that company in that spot?
Absolutely. That people walking across the road come right up to it.
Yeah. I also think that's a great place to have the past and then the vision for the future, because right there is the heart of this project.
That's where it connects.
Right, exactly. So if you talk to, because people are very sentimental about the bustle of people walking around when Uniroyal was there. And you know what I'm talking about, I don't want to belabor it. But that would be a perfect place to say this project is designed to create that sort of vibrancy in the modern world. And it'd be much nicer than what I just said, but on that theme.
So, Paul, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. So, let's say this, we want to, well, let's just keep talking. Does anyone have any thoughts, things we want to consider? Past, present, future, what are we looking for? It's a tough question, right?
It is.
It is, you gotta, and we don't have to decide tonight, so, cause I've been thinking about it a long time and I keep changing my mind, so there's a lot of possibilities. So let's put our heads together and pick the best ones.
So the location of this train station is gonna be at the train station end of the new street or on Old Firehouse Road?
No, it's gonna be where the new road is.
In the middle of the new road.
Right. Which is also, as Tim said, sort of
Gateway.
the gateway.
Right.
Now, don't forget, we have the other side of the gateway on Church Street,
Right.
so we could blend those two
Yeah.
spots together.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's nothing wrong with saying a little bit of the same thing in a different way
Yeah,
with the two locations.
yeah. Well, we could do a seventh crest as well, so.
I like having on a walkway much more than the street, too. You can stop and think about it and look at it
In the walkway,
in the walkway.
well, don't forget, it's gotta be asphalt. So, I'm not saying we couldn't do that.
Right.
But let's start with this, is everyone happy with the first grade?
Yes.
absolutely.
It's beautiful.
And the color,
Yeah, nice, right? Great.
think the garnet's all right?
Yeah.
I'm staring everybody that way on Saturday. I was like, go up and see that, you gotta go see how it's.
Right.
So what will we put for the rubber company? Would we look at their 3 top products they produce?
No,
Or
I don't know. I mean, I don't wanna say no.
another building outline?
You know what, to me, the building on the mural looks really cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it really does.
Building with a suit.
As long as that's not three guys shuffling.
Pair of broadcasts. By the way.
Broken, there you go. Boat shoes for $10. You get sentimental about that.
Alright, what about at the crest coming up the hill of Maple Street, welcome to Norwood. What thoughts do we have on that?
Right here.
Right here.
Yeah,
We're right here. Okay,
Coming up.
in the mid, okay.
Before you get to the break area.
Before the break.
Okay.
I think that's where you start talking about you become a white and the
And
design.
the big meeting lights over there.
That's right, that's right. Never mind.
Right.
That's the top one.
Franklin Johnson Way.
There you go. That's where, that's a good place for it.
I think. That one.
Alright, let's do this. We've got a lot to do tonight.
Sure.
I'm gonna, Paul's listening, we'll give him a few thoughts, anyone has a thought, let me know. We'll have him start coming up with some ideas, and then next month we'll discuss the ideas and start getting a direction. Alright? Alright, so if everything else, well, okay, the planters, let's do that. Are we all, is there anyone against painting them all black?
Feeling great, but.
Looks
The
nice.
feedback has been extremely positive.
Yeah, it looks
about
great.
it. Yes.
Only one person mentioned the black is gonna absorb heat and it's gonna dry out the plant, so that's all that was ever mentioned. Other than that, people love it.
They're insulated.
Wait, when is that?
Or insulation.
There you go. You go sit downtown,
It's like they were made.
have it a drink.
Yeah, that sounds like,
Everybody
a-
was.
it'll be all right.
that sounds like a Facebook statistic.
Jeremy,
And we looked at a dark gray also.
you haven't.
Yeah, in black.
There's-
Want to do the,
done.
I mean, we could do,
Start
if
that
you guys like the black, we could bring some guys in and do the rest of Church Street black. Then we do a dark gray on another spot, take a look at that, see if you want to continue with the black or the dark gray, it's up to you guys.
I was a non-believer about the black and I really think the black looks good. I sent them a subject email. Looks good. I like it.
By the way, that was Jeremy's idea.
Yeah. it looks good.
My wife is good, but
Giving her some credit.
Try that dark Maple Street. What you guys want to be doing?
When I look, yeah.
You guys.
So, the black.
Why don't we, I don't know what the schedule is, why don't we paint, Church Street in the green black? And why, if you want to do some gray ones somewhere else and see how they.
Just do a couple of them, just see what they look like.
Yeah.
Thinking like a darker charcoal.
Yeah.
Take again.
Alright, so try it out on the bridge.
That was the first.
Alright. Besides moving along, murals. Alright, anyone wanna talk about any other enhancements? Tonight. Alright, Paul, so you start working on the crosses. Church Street, we're gonna paint it black, in the words of Mick Jagger. And,
Nicely done.
we'll try out some charcoal gray. And we'll come back next month and take another look. Alright, good,
Yeah, yeah.
alright,
Everyone has to drive by the charcoal gray one, so they have an opinion.
Yeah.
alright, senior center update. Does anyone wanna say anything to report?
Well, Jim. Well, work always, Jim. Do you wanna bring that up or should you? No, please. Please do. Oh, no, go ahead. Our committee.
Our committee of Jim, and I. We have narrowed down to 5 companies for the new construction, for the reconstruction of the senior center. So That's the main thing. We're meeting Tuesday to interview those five. Okay.
We'll
Ramp it down.
preliminarily select one and with the mayor's proposal, we'll move on and negotiate a contract. Scope.
Right. And it was great. I mean, between Jim and Kim and I, we individually looked at all these companies and we pretty much came up with the same.
We were on the same page.
Yeah.
We were,
Which was great.
yeah. I thought.
Since we're not into that.
I think the thing I liked best about the senior center most recently, yes, there's still a lot more activities. But I absolutely love the way Kara put out a whole Facebook thing when the big temperatures were predicted. And she made the senior center part of the community and a place where you go for shelter. Right. And there were a lot of people there. And I think that's next level stuff. Like they putting in more activities, great. Welcoming more people into the center, terrific. But that's next level stuff. When we say, yeah, as a resource to the community. That's right. That's right.
Great job.
Yeah, really good job. Yep.
Except this luau thing, I don't have a Hawaiian shirt.
Well, I know you.
I got a ton of them in the closet, you need to borrow them.
They're not Hawaiian.
Here, I go anymore.
All right, let's go to item 13.
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess to adopt an artificial intelligence policy as recommended by IT Director Jim Calcalese. Second motion.
All right, so we have Jim, Jose, and Julie. Who wants to lead off and tell us where we are?
Anything to add? All right, so we spent the last several months going through some different AI policies across the state and BCOG from some of the professional associations that I'm connected with. And we came up with the one that's in your packets right now. Thank you to Jose and Julie for their input. Each of them looked at it in a different way, which is very helpful. It's not just all about technical, but it also has to read well. We've got some good definitions, and we have at least I feel a policy that has some teeth to it. Really, the next part of this really is to look at the tools that we are going to use in the town. Obviously, there's a ton of free stuff that's out there, but there is some licensing that we should be looking at, whether they're credits or if they're built into Office 365 licenses or Google, what they call business, or even ChatGPT has a business section, and we're not a bunch of freebies here, so we need to do things the right way. We will allow the use of the tools that we choose. I also have to look at some budget numbers to find out how much money I have around, if I have any. And then we'll send out everything to all users across the borough as to what's acceptable. And I'm going to attempt at that point to lock down everything else. So you can try them, but there's no. It's if we find something that's we feel is usable, we put that in a policy where you can reach out to your department head, you can bring it to myself, you can take it to the mayor. And it'll ultimately come back, we'll vet it to make sure that it's good. If it makes sense, then we'll allow it and move forward as we would with any other policy. That's the long and the short of it.
I really enjoyed being a part of it only because I think Jose and Jim obviously have more experience with it. Or I'm the lay person that's gonna read this, and other people in the borough reading this, can easily understand what's going on. So, not to say I was the dumb person as part of this, but.
No, you just have a different perspective.
Different
Yeah,
perspective,
yeah.
yeah.
And an important one.
Just being able to understand what's going on.
Because if Jose and I wrote it, it'd be 97 pages long.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't understand a damn thing.
I think it really reads well in my eyes, very understanding.
Yeah, it looks good. I like the little color, I like the layout, it looks good, it's really direct.
Yeah. Very direct.
And Jim, I guess for the record, the prosecutor has the meetings. I'd like to confirm that my use of the variety of AI tools on my own personal phone is not inconsistent with our policy. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right.
What you do at home doesn't concern me. What you do on hardware that I manage concerns me a lot.
I think they do it right here on. I've never had a brewer.
That's correct, you have none. And I had the opportunity to give you one and I chose not to, because you don't need 2 or 3 phones, so. You got 2 phone numbers, you want to leave them out. So. It's rude.
Are we ready to adopt this tonight?
I think we are. Jose,
Ready?
Julie? Yeah.
We can always amend it.
We can always amend it, and actually, it'll probably come up, I think what we put in here was semi-annually to review it or quarterly. I don't remember specific, because there were so many revisions, but it will be looked at frequently. And if we have to make adjustments, then we'll bring it back to the board and we will adjust it as we go. The world is changing by the day, so I expect.
It says at least semi.
Yeah, so it was originally a year. Jose really kind of hammered it, and I think it was better for 6 months, and it might even be once a quarter. Just
Because
this
such
is
change.
they do.
As AI increases over time, they'll probably change it to quarterly.
It could definitely
That's scary.
be. Yes, I will be.
All right, any further discussion on implementation of an AI policy? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, trash recycling bins.
I asked Louis.
I know, I'm gonna move, Jim, Stuart, we see her, Rocky's gonna raise the question.
Yep, I can try to answer any questions you guys have.
Or, Rocky,
I was contacted by a new resident of Naugatuck. And when they moved in, there was no trash bin and no recycling bin. So I got a hold of a realtor. And I said, when you're selling a house to somebody, is that on your checklist? Do you say, is there a trash bin, is there a recycling bin? And they said, no, we don't even think about that. I said, well, that might be a nice idea to put on your checklist for new people moving in to make sure that they have them. And I know they disappear sometimes, who knows what. I put my address on my bins in case they blow down the street or something, because there are registration numbers. But I don't know if my bin's over there based on a registration number, only because of what I wrote on it. So back in 2022, you accepted what was called a proposed fees and policy number 2. That came through as a motion. My question is, these new people that came in were told they would have to pay $70 for a bin and then $175 a year. But
no,
Just $70 for the bin. $175 is if you want an extra bin.
oh, well, that's what I thought. They mentioned the 175. That's right.
They probably wanted a second bin.
Oh, okay. So my question is, last year, there was 10 bins that were replaced. 9 of them were new people moving in. I'm just wanting to bring up for discussion, why are we gonna penalize 9 people who chose to move to our wonderful community and say, great, you gotta pay for a bin? It just doesn't seem fair. And it's not a lot of money. I'm not talking about thousands a year. There's only 9 people last year that moved in, that had to have bins replaced.
Say if they see it with the house to begin with, we gotta find out what is it business.
Well, again, that's impossible. That's what I said. I said, has your realtor gotten hold of the people that you bought the house from? And she says, nobody can find them, they're in California. But it's not their fault. Bin goes with the house. And it's a minor thing, but it evidently annoys people. So I'm just wondering why we would charge $70 when we could just say, okay, you don't have one, we'll bring one. On new residents zone, new people moving in. We would, if a new house is put up, we give it to them free, right?
New houses,
Yeah.
once they get their CO, they get 2 for free.
And I don't know what this policy number 2 is, I've never seen it. So I don't know what it says or.
It
if
just
even addresses
basically
that.
says that we charge, I think it was in the email you sent to you, but basically it says, it's $70. Perfect. $70 for replacement trash bins. So we did give away quite a few, and we're fairly liberal on the trash cans we give away. Most of them are damaged in some way by the trash truck.
Right.
I mean, now it's been 15 years since they've been out there, and they've got a lifespan of 15 to 20 years, and we've got 19,000 cans. So I'm expecting that over the next 5 to 10 years, we're gonna be starting to replace. Hundreds of them a year rather than
And again, it's not a big deal, it's not worth a lot of discussion. I just would like to see the policy
200,
change.
we're doing this on average now, so.
I'd like to see the policy change. If I bought a brand new house, I show I bought a brand new house, I get my trash. For free.
I don't think that's a fair assessment, really. I mean, if somebody's moving in, they don't
I
have.
have a
it.
question from Nancy.
Quiet in the room.
So in this policy where it says it's $70, but it says plus $175 yearly service fee.
Well,
What is that?
it's probably poorly written, but what that is when people say, I've got a trash cart, I've got extra trash. So we want another one, so we charge them $70 for the extra can and $170 a year, and they get billed every year.
So replacement. should
For
be-
that replacement, it's $70 for the cart plus for the service for the additional. So it's not, it's
How many, do a lot of people do that?
like 50,
I have
a
neighbors.
lot of people ask,
Yeah, I have neighbors
and
say
and when they're told, hey,
$175 a year.
you get a recycling cart for free, then most, like 80, 90% of the people decide it's better to recycle.
So anyway, I would just like to see that change, and I wanted to see what people
You know,
thought.
I would only say that I have obviously no problem with giving those, 9 carts away. But I just don't wanna make it free for everybody because we get a lot of calls from people who say they need it. The can is dirty, I want a new one. I don't know where it went. I think my neighbor took it. They don't wanna walk
No,
across
I'm
the
just
street.
talking about brand new residents.
They just want a new car. So
Yeah.
there needs to be something to get them to
They
look
shouldn't be
around the
penalized
corner.
because they moved here.
So they.
Some people say, I moved here. And they say, oh, I didn't check, I was around back of the house, I found it. So there will be some more given away if we stop charging.
I don't think we can.
No, this is just
19,000 of them. That's.
Well,
money.
we spent $19,000 last year
Oh, I
buying
thought you
them.
said we were.
But we have 19
that.
we have 19,000 cars.
Right.
Limited to that.
Yeah, that's what.
And that was 9 last year.
That's this, bringing that statistic in was important. Is it worth, I don't know, whatever 9 times $70 is, I'm tired.
It's almost 700.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So maybe just adjust or amend the policy so that it reads more clearly.
Why don't we just fix the improperly worded part?
Yeah,
of it,
just not-
and just give new people.
They can
Don't
prove
have
that they
a can.
moved in.
Give them a can, but don't change the policy.
Perfect.
Can I make a comment, please? It's Sandra.
You could, Jim, make a memo, so it's clear to your staff, because you're not there all the time.
Yeah, no, we've talked about this for the last month, every day, so.
Well, who-
Say something.
is the fellow on the animal?
Michelle and Lori Ann.
So what are you gonna do? New person moves in,
Right.
they have no trash can, what happens?
We're gonna say, provide us with some proof that you moved in and we'll have them delivered
There's no charge.
at no charge.
And you're gonna fix the policy
Yep.
where it's improperly worded.
Can I make a comment?
I feel much better now.
Yeah,
Hi. Well, we have different circumstances because when somebody says they just moved in, they're probably moving into a multi-family house where the landlord didn't hold their tenants accountable for their cans. So we usually hold the landlord accountable for purchasing another can if they let theirs go missing and didn't hold a security deposit for their tenants.
I'm not talking about renters, I'm talking about people that bought a house.
So then you have to.
And then there's the other side where we have residents, for the most part, I'm not sure who you spoke to, but for the most part, when I've ever taken calls or spoken to residents about new cans, they typically come from places where they pay for trash service and they're very excited to pay for $70 for their can for the rest of their life if they take care of it. And that $70 gives a value to the can where they can't say that the can went missing or this, there's an actual monetary value to the can. It's not about the $70, it's saying that there's a value to the can.
Well, this person was about $70. I'm just saying we need to welcome the people in and not say, here's a bill.
we can certainly express to them when they get a free can, hey, come back again. We had people light them on fire, people drive into them.
I'm not talking about any of that.
People leave them out on the street and they float away down, so.
That's all different. Thank you.
Thank you. And this quantifies single family house.
All right, 15.
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess approve the appointment of Smith A. Payne Jr., 1 Van Avenue, Nonotuck, as a regular member of the Board of Finance, until the expired term of J. Savarese, term to expire June 1st, 2029.
Second motion.
Any discussion?
Just thank Joe Savarese for his time. He's been here for
I
a
agree.
long time.
Yeah, I agree. He's said for a long, long time. Do we do anything when somebody?
Yeah, we send them a nice letter, but,
Okay.
Yeah.
well, we should, well, at least for the ones that are sort of, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. We are against something like.
Can I say you?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess approve the reappointment of James Higgins, 67 Michael Lane, Nonotuck, as a regular member of the Board of Finance, term to expire July 1st, 2029.
Second motion.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess approve the reappointment of Diane Cinto, 190 East Waterbury Road, Nonotuck, as a regular member of the Board of Finance, term to expire July 1st, 2029.
Second motion.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess authorized Mayor Hess to enter into a 2025 Emergency Management Performance Grant as recommended by Emergency Management Director Kenneth Hank as the grant.
Second motion.
Steve Hanks.
Hi, so this is a continuing resolution. We approve this every year. This allows us to receive our share of Homeland Security grant, which is basically about 50 cents per capita. Very important to do the census, it all counts. This money, about a little over $16,000 for next year will pay for most of our program.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things I have to do to make sure the grant happens.
Yeah. All right, roll call vote. Burgess Kimball.
Yes.
Velasquez.
Yes.
That's Hume.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Vitality.
Yes.
I am yes. Rosenblatt.
Yes.
Gallo.
Yes.
Bronco.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess approve the updated 2026 Borough of Nonotuck Emergency Operations Plan as recommended by Emergency Management Director Kenneth Hanks.
Second motion.
Right.
Okay, so this is the first of the 12 items that I need to do to complete this grant and approve. This thing is reviewed by the state every 2 years. We did a complete rewrite of the plan. It went from about 400 pages down to about 80. It just basically describes how we describe to the state of Connecticut in FEMA how we're going to handle a large disaster. The plan has to be in place in order for us to qualify for federal reimbursement. We have a great emergency management team here. The department heads and the mayor. To several of the local disasters. Our plan works. It's probably, and I've been around the state doing this, and we're definitely in the top. So, revised the plan, made it shorter. I did email a copy for Nancy, email a copy to all purchases. There really isn't any sensitive information there, but it's not really for public use. It describes some of the vulnerabilities of town, some potential disasters that could happen, and how the different departments would interact with each other.
Classified FOU.
FOU, yeah, for official use only. Get the old emails every day. Thank you. I'll be the witness.
All right. Any questions? Any concerns? Feel very tension?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess approve the bid for contract fiscal year 27-B086 for hardware, lumber, sign construction, maintenance supplies, Dad's Hardware, 560 Rubber Avenue, Nonotuck, as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James R. Stewart.
Second motion.
Discussion.
So this bid went out. I guess it didn't go out with the original set of bids, and we're proposing to award it to Ed's Hardware. With actually they did a little proposed 5% discount.
All right. Good choice.
Big chance.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Yes. Okay. Number 21. Looking for a motion.
Motion the Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve the bid for contract FY 27 B 087 for street and park lane maintenance for Victoria Masterson's Riverside Avenue, Torrington, Connecticut, as per bid with initial terms of contract July 1, 2026, June 30th, 2029, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second motion.
The motion in a second. Anything?
We got two bids, one form from ETC, the company is actually doing the lighting downtown. And Terry Masterson, the company we have been working with for 6 years. The numbers were a little all over the place. But we did look at the bid items that we use the most. And Terry appears to be less expensive, and we've had a good relationship with them for the last 6 years. So we're proposing to do a 3-year contract with renewals following.
Just a quick question. When they go out to the fields, they replace those lights that are way up high. If one is out, do you just replace the one? Or do they replace older ones just in case, like on streetlights?
Well, the streetlights were all replaced, was it 7, 8 years ago, the LEDs, and we finally got to a point where, and what we expected was they either die quickly or they last a long time. We got over that initial hump, and now it's a lot less than it used to be, thank God. So we're getting, one a month kind of thing. So, it's much better, and now we're having to buy replacement fixtures, but they come and take the fixture and they bolt them.
Thank you.
But often it's a power issue, and then they've got to notify they fix it, and they got to Eversource come. Of course, Eversource bills us, but.
Yeah. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Number 22, please.
Motion the Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve the rebid for contract fiscal year 27 B 088 for pest control, Yale Termite and Pest Elimination Corporation in Sonia, Connecticut, as per bid. The recommendation, Public Works Director James.
So originally we went out finance went out to bid. The numbers were not advantageous, to say the least. And went out to bid again. We got 2 bids that are fairly close together. Yale, who we're using now, and Connecticut Pest Elimination. Yale is less expensive on the borough side. Connecticut Pest is slightly more expensive on the Board of Ed side. But Yale is significantly less expensive on the random buildings that don't have regular service, are when we call them, they come in. And the Board of Ed called references on Connecticut Pest, and they were not satisfied with it. I mean, they were extremely satisfied with Yale, so we're proposing that we stay with Yale.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That one passes. I didn't use this, I was scared. Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve Facility First Cleaning, 8 McCabe Farm Road, Woodbury, as an approved vendor, as recommended by Controller Eileen A. Panacchia.
Second motion.
This is the new cleaning service that took over from the old cleaning service. If you're not familiar with the old one, Tom Sweeney was the one. And the police department conducted a background check, so they're the ones posting this. And we're in favor.
Discussion? Specifically for the police department?
Yes.
And how does their numbers, if
They're actually lower.
are they?
Yes, it's actually, I think, his nephew.
Okay. Did he retire?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the numbers right now are significantly lower.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Always wait for that motion carries. Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess waive the bid to the following vendors to provide goods and/or services for fiscal year 2026-27, and to authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts related documents as recommended by Controller Eileen Canafia as read.
Second the motion.
All right, Eileen,
So, in the past, we didn't always have, limitations as to the extent they were pretty much unlimited, waive bids were unlimited. So late last year, we started implementing, limitations. So what we did is we took, Jen and the rest, some other staff members took, into consideration the last couple of years' volume, and then we spoke to the departments, and Jeremy is gonna be doing some additional work, so we increased some of the thresholds based on the expected work, but we put caps that we believe we can work with. We might be back here at some point during the year to ask them to be increased, but we think they're a nice, since we're waiving a bit, we have to put some sort of restrictions.
so
I think it worked.
in the past, we dealt with this as an approved vendor, now you're suggesting we waive the bid as a better policy?
No, we did these as waiver bids. Yes,
They were all approved at one point in time with no limit. So with the new purchasing guidelines, anything over the 25,000 needs to be waived.
Instead of
So
considering these people approved vendors, we're waiving the bid and we're voting
Correct.
to them.
because we'd have to go out to bid to use them. And the approved vendor status is only good from 5,000 to 25,000. So these all exceed the 25,000 limitation.
I would disagree with that. But, we're improving the overall process. So,
Understood.
if this is better, I'm certainly not against it. You think it's better?
It is much, and the list is a lot less than last year as well.
All right. Is everyone good with that concept?
Yeah.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Votes on the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the following consortiums and state and federal contracts awards to continue to provide goods and services for fiscal year 2026-27, and to authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts related documents as recommended by Controller Eileen A. Canafia as read.
Eileen?
This is our standard list of consortiums that we deal with. Really nothing, do we typically do the risk? So we added the only addition this year is the Risk Alliance Oil and Fuel Consortium. This is where we went into the worked with consortium to get the fuel prices, which we're gonna just coming on the next agenda items.
It's the same company.
We are using the same vendor, but we used a different purchasing group.
Hold on. Say that again?
We used the consortium for the last one listed, the rest RESC. That's the consortium that we purchased this through East River.
Well, but it's still East River.
Yes.
So
But that's the only addition to
East
the list.
River is part of the RESC consortium.
Exactly.
I wanna, just make sure we keep East River as a, I'm gonna say preferred vendor.
Okay,
I mean, we've had great success with them.
and that's one of the reasons we chose to go with this, and we did this in conjunction with the DoD.
Well, I think you're right, I just wanna make sure that East River is with them. Okay. Any further questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion on the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts related documents for the purchase of 45,000 gallons of dyed ultra low sulfur diesel fuel for the time period September 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2027 for $2.79 prepaid per gallon to the total amount of $125,787.87 in fiscal year 2026-27 from East River Energy, 401 Soundview Road, Guilford, as recommended by Controller Eileen A. Canafia.
Second the motion.
I mean, I'm in favor of this, we're doing a direct motion here. Without referencing the consortium, we're going straight to East River.
The contract, I believe, states that the pricing was through RESC. On the actual contract itself, the invoices come through from East River to be paid, I'm sorry.
The pricing is based on
Consortium.
I mean, I'm good with motion, I'm trying to understand how it relates to what we just did.
Well, as opposed to putting them on as like a waived bid, because it would be over the $25,000, since they use the consortium pricing. We just put the consortium on as an approved consortium so that we can use them to purchase.
Sorry. The finance department, Giant, and Irene, are in favor of it, almost filled the cost.
The rate's good too.
You tell me-
Especially going to the, no, gas
you tell
station.
me Money back guarantee this complies with our policies, right?
Yeah.
All right.
The last motion assured us that we following our policy.
Rates look great here.
Today.
What happens when they go lower?
Chance to take care of it.
I get that too. Because I know that they're probably, I would suspect that they're gonna go lower.
I was gonna say.
Not tape. No, these prices look awesome.
We did it in like December, yeah, it was when we did it in December.
Well, then like today.
I think we're doing it in December.
Yeah.
It's like going easy.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Most of the Board of Mayor Burgess authorized mayor has execute all contracts and related documents for the purchase of 9,500 gallons of #2 heating oil for the time period September 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2027 for $2.74 prepaid per gallon for the total amount of $26,099.22 in fiscal year 2026-27 from East River Energy, 401 Soundview Road, Guilford, as recommended by Controller Eileen A. Carnafio.
Second motion.
Question. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Most of the Board of Maine Burgess authorized mayor has execute all contracts and related documents for the purchase of 140,000 gallons of regular unleaded gasoline for the time period September 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2027 for $2.37 prepaid per gallon for the total amount of $361,724.83 in fiscal year 2026-27 from East River Energy, 41 Soundview, 401 Soundview Road, Guilford, Connecticut, as recommended by Controller Eileen A. Carnafio.
Second motion.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Most of the Board of Mayor Burgess authorized mayor has executed all contracts and related documents for on-call engineering and surveying services for the period July 1st, 2026 to June 20th, 2028 with Weston and Sampson, Brook Street, Rocky Hill at the agreed upon rates and in the form approved by the borough attorney as recommended by Public Works Director James R. Stewart.
Second motion.
Yeah, this is our stormwater.
This is our MS4 stormwater industrial discharge engineer. We obviously did a bunch of these last month. Weston Sampson didn't have all their paperwork in it on time, so we're doing it. Hopefully to do it now.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Most of the Board of Mayor Burgess authorized mayor has entered into an agreement with Woodward and Curran Incorporated, Court Street, Middletown, Connecticut for environmental services fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 27 for industrial park phase 3 in an amount not to exceed $398,000.
Second motion.
Jim. Motion.
So this is for the industrial park. One is for testing and one is for, one is for groundwater extraction testing and monitoring. and attempting to shut down the pumping system. So they're doing a trial, 1 year trial period, testing the wells to see if we can shut them down completely.
But just for the new people, this goes back a long time to monitoring the groundwater at the industrial park 3. And now we're approaching the end of the monitoring.
Hopefully, yes.
So if all things go well, this number will be lower in the future.
Correct. Correct.
A lot more.
Well, that portion is $40,000. And then the rest is development costs for the industrial park. Permit costs, the capping design costs, and project management, remedial action plan, addendums and such.
So this includes soil management plans on an individual level.
Exactly.
Okay, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Mayor Burgess authorizing Mayor Hess enter to an agreement with NQ Industries, 850 Sherman Avenue, Hampton, in the amount of $162,067 for air quality maintenance services at 10 borough schools and town hall.
Second.
This year?
Again, I can't help you with that.
What? No, I'm so, this is, I'm just gonna say the town and the Board of Ed working together, NQ came up with some, air quality, solutions for our schools during COVID. They worked out exceedingly well. There is maintenance. Since that time, we've expanded them to include some town facilities as well. And it's all under one contract. And between the Board of Ed and the borough, it was decided that we would put this on the borough side. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Mayor Burgess authorizing Mayor Hess enter into an agreement with SLR International Corporation, Glastonbury Boulevard, Glastonbury, in the amount of $13,850 on a time and material basis to prepare bid documents for cleanup of partial Y and to assist the borough of Naugatuck through the bid award.
Second.
All right, so I'm sure everyone knows, but if you don't, parcels Y and Z adjoin parcel A in Naugatuck Event Center, and we're now beginning the cleanup. We have two grants, one grant and one agreement with the state of Connecticut. When we bought the land, the state agreed as part of the purchase price, they will pay up to $300,000 of our costs to remediate that land. I should say remediate, so they could comply with proper environmental standards. Keeping in mind it's going to be a parking lot, so it's going to be trapped with asphalt. We also have an additional grant from Todd that includes this and other matters that's going to come up a little later in the agenda. But we're actually starting the process right now. We're starting to get rid of some of the trucks and materials there. And we're going to do some of the work in-house, some of it will go out to bid and manage the project. Hopefully, while it's under what we have received in grants.
We removed the tires today.
They did?
About a pile half the size of this room.
I'll have the size of this room.
Lot of junk there.
Oh, who collected them, our guys?
Yeah.
You didn't dump in the industrial park, did you?
Yes. Yes. So
Everybody else does.
All right, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
33 is, I don't think we need a motion for that. We received an 824 approval. It's noted in the borough record. You don't have to vote to accept it. I guess I should do agree, Nancy?
Jim wanted.
I know, we've done it 72 times without doing it. I think we should keep it the same. Are you good with that? All right, so we'll, just gonna pass over 33 and go to 34.
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses accept a Connecticut DOT Community Connectivity Grant in the amount of $846,400, and authorized Mayor Hess to enter into a contract with the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation as recommended by Director of Grants Daniel Goey.
Second motion.
All right, I'll just point out that, Danielle did a great job on this. And this is gonna sort of finish some of the loose ends, sidewalks along the green, sidewalks along, Franklin Johnson Way, some of the finishing touches in downtown, so we won't have to, accept, or we won't have to utilize TIF funds. So it's good. We applied for this, a long time ago. It took a while to get, but it came in right when we were ready to, do the work, so it's, great timing.
That include the asphalt that's here as you exit the town hall?
Well, it's a sidewalk job.
Oh, it's a sidewalk.
Town is great with that.
Yeah, sidewalks have to go in first, so that side was gonna talk to you. This are discussing for that for sidewalks. Finish up with that. Mike's great with that.
Nobody sitting next to you.
By the way, is everyone on the board? Mike Farino, stand up. Mike is, number 2 in the street department and number 2 in North America, because these are the 3 top guys anywhere. Did we vote?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorized Mayor Hess to enter into an agreement with SLR International Corporation, Realty Drive, Cheshire, to provide design services for the Rubber Avenue Revitalization Project in an amount not to exceed $585,200. Costs will be reimbursed by the CIF 2030 round for $5,754,493 grant.
Second motion.
All right, so this is, taking a while, but we made progress. So this is essentially the, sidewalks on Scott Street, storm water drainage on Etna Street, and, the design for, the street department building on the Richmond property. And it's a SIF grant that we got to, I'm gonna say reinforce and supplement our Rubber Avenue project. So this extends out into the neighborhoods. Two of the oldest neighborhoods in Naugatuck, and we received a CIF grant, and it's underway. So I'm just, as you could probably tell just from tonight, not to mention everything else that's going on, we're right in the heart of a lot of really good, exciting projects that are all full speed ahead.
Is this a portion of Scott Street?
Yeah, so, Jim, why don't you tell us where we are? Don't forget, it's not all designed yet, but in the thoughts for the design, what do you think?
With the Cherry Meadow to Andrew. And then from Scott and Andrew down to Rubber, because there's no connection there, and then up the hill to connect to the sidewalks that lead to the Andrew Avenue School.
So is there sidewalks on both sides of Scott Street?
There are sidewalks and there's all sorts of design issues with parking
No kidding.
Yeah, sidewalks.
and grades and access to, so that's
It's a disaster waiting to happen.
it's a disaster. The engineer had some interesting ideas about parking in front of the Risden parcel, or the extra parcel, so they potentially could push that back and have pull-in parking, but it's gonna be a challenge. We're gonna have to figure out which side of the road could have parking and which side can't, and
Roads are
how much
tight.
and how much we need. And the road's already tight, exactly. So
Imagine how it gets plowed.
I'm sure we'll be back here with a concept design for your approval.
What's needed, we just don't know what the design is.
Exactly.
I can't see sidewalks on both sides.
That one stretch there is pretty bad, so that's exciting. So we're very and I drive through that all the time. It looks.
But everyone works in front of their house, so.
Well, I know, it's that street's a challenge, yes. But that one side with the where the fencing is all flat, yeah, that's pretty rough.
Does a street like that have to have sidewalks? Do you say no sidewalk? Is that legal?
You could, I would say I think a street like that should have sidewalks on one side.
Yes.
Because
I was just wondering if you could say no sidewalk to the street.
It's pretty dense, there's a lot of hills, and it's pretty dense there.
Yeah, exactly. Kids go to school and walk to school.
And you're gonna have sidewalks run up Andrew towards the schools, correct?
That's the plan, yes.
Yeah.
And then they've also got funding in there to design a replacement pipe that's would be underneath that sidewalk, because that's the pipe that overflowed during the flood. And it's metal and all rotted out, so rather than having the same problem in the future, we're figuring it makes sense to redesign it. Install a new pipe before the sidewalks get destroyed.
Is that the area that sunk?
Yes. Well, no, actually, we're talking about the first block going up, just below. But that area's the area with the sidewalk sunk too, so.
So were you gonna be working alongside of the designer on this?
Of course.
So,
We've got the same process of meeting every couple of weeks with them as the project continues.
all right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Mayor Burgess authorize Mayor Hess to enter into an agreement with Kleinfeld Northeast Incorporated, Capitol Boulevard, Rocky Hill, in an amount not to exceed $421,996 to provide design services for the Hillside Avenue Lot Zip reconstruction project. Second motion.
All right, so this is the project that Megan talked about at the beginning. And we're hiring Kleinfelder to come up with the design for stormwater and everything else we talked about. Any questions? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize the purchase of John Deere 325P track loader with snow blower from W.I. Clark Company, Lawrence Industrial Road, Wallingford, for a 5-year annual lease amount of $22,000 as recommended by Park Superintendent Sandra Lucas Rivera. Second motion.
All right, so. Eileen, I want you to pay attention to my statement. So the next several items are leases. So just to remind everyone, I'm gonna say all the way through item 41. At the joint boards last month, we transferred money from capital reserve back into the general fund. And we left the capital reserve account with approximately 3.8 million. We did not include any capital items in our budget this year to help, keep the mill rate as low as we can. We are leasing the trucks that we talked about. In each and every case, the item 38, 39, 40, and 41. So we're putting the lease amounts in here, and those lease amounts will be paid from our capital reserve account. Outside the budget.
Another question. The legislature has, or they're going to, allow road money to be used for purchasing equipment. Since we're bonding roads, can we use any of the road money we have to purchase this equipment?
Well, we could, but then it doesn't help us. In other words, either way, we're spending the money just where. So we've been spending it in roads, rather than equipment, but we could have used it for, no, we couldn't have used it for equipment. But we could now, but it would be the same result.
Gotcha.
So if you move it from roads to equipment, you still have to do the roads.
Right.
Well, I just didn't know with the bonding, it's a fair on the roads, the next 3 years,
Yeah. All right, any questions on the financial aspect? I mean,
Yes,
did I misstate anything?
no, you did not.
All right. Any questions on, item 38? All right, all those. 37, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgesses authorize the purchase of a 2027 Ford F-350 Super Duty truck from Litchfield Ford, Bantam Road, Litchfield, for a 5-year annual lease amount of $13,500, as recommended by Park Superintendent Sandra Lucas Rivera.
All right, same discussion as 37, and that same discussion will apply as well to 39, 40, 41. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgesses authorize the purchase of a 2027 Ford F-350 Crew Cab 4x4 from Litchfield Ford, Bantam Road, Litchfield, for a 5-year annual lease amount of $17,500, as recommended by DPW Foreman Jeremy Lennon.
Second motion.
Same discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgesses authorize the purchase of a 2027 Ford F-350 XL 4x4 dump truck from Litchfield Ford, Bantam Road, Litchfield, for a 5-year annual lease amount of $32,000, as recommended by DPW Foreman Jeremy Lennon.
Second motion.
There's a misprint on that, it's an F-550.
Jeremy?
It's a misprint on that, it's an
I will
F-550.
correct my motion to an F-550.
Thank you, sir.
All right, any, further discussion?
Just one question, when we lease these things, do we have the option to buy it at the end of 5 years?
We own.
It's a financing, it's a financing arrangement rather than a lease.
Okay,
So lease to own.
We make all the lease payments, you know.
gotcha.
What on that? We didn't vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Most of the Board of Maine Burgesses authorize the purchase of a 2027 Mack truck, 6-wheeled plow truck, vendor to be determined for a 5-year annual lease amount of $80,000, as recommended by DPW Foreman Jeremy Lennon.
Second motion.
Same discussion as 37. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to accept grant funds of $950,000 and enter into a brownfields cleanup revolving loan fund subaward agreement between the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments and the Borough of Naugatuck, in the amount of $950,000 for 6 Rubber Avenue, the Event Center, Parcel Y and Parcel C, as recommended by Director of Grants Daniel Gowdy.
Second motion.
Okay, so just to break this down, $500,000 is allocated to parcel, to the, asbestos in, parcel A. 350 to additional remediation on parcel Y, and 100 remediation for parcel B. Hopefully, you don't need all of those funds, but those are the recommended amounts. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Maine Purchases authorize Controller Eileen Cornacchia to refund the following tax refunds approved by Tax Collector James Goggin as of Fred.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
You have any thumbs on
We do. Motion of the Board of Maine Purchases add to the agenda a motion for additional tax refunds.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Maine Purchases authorized Controller Eileen Cornacchia to refund the following tax refunds approved by Tax Collector James Goggin as of Fred.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Maine Purchases add to the agenda a motion to approve a parking license agreement. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion of the Board of Maine Purchases authorized Mayor Hess to execute all contracts and related documents for a parking license agreement between Anderson 49 LLC, South Main Street, Deacon Falls, and the Borough of Naugatuck for the use of 5 parking spaces dedicated to the Naugatuck Probate Court in the amount of $250 monthly fee.
Yeah, this is, the probate court is short 5 spots. They've been using, the adjoining property, and now the landlord, or the owner wants to be compensated.
Isn't there 3 parking?
What?
There's street parking, right?
But no, they need parking. I mean, well, there is street parking, but they have staff and, right, you know, they have good journeys and. Any discussion?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah. All right. Second, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment?
Yes. Sandra Lucas Rivera, 49 Cohen Street.
All right, the chair recognizes Sandra Lucas.
2 things. One, I think if we're gonna do a sample of the planters, we should probably do it like on the Water Street extension, because there's less planters and it's less visible, so we could do a practice run instead of on the bridge.
Say that again?
You know, the color, you guys wanna check
Yeah.
out the different color, like maybe on the planters, like on that Water Street area next to the old pub, so that it's not so visible.
Yeah, right.
Well, let me check with Bob Matthews, so, right,
I don't care.
okay. All right, all right, we'll do the Water Street area.
And then is it possible, I don't know if this was ever discussed, of us as a town taking over the sign, the Trantolo sign on the bridge with a welcome to Naugatuck on the train, bridge on Maple Street?
On the overhang?
Yeah, like we should take over the lease on that sign and
Well,
put a welcome
hold
to
on.
Naugatuck sign instead of a,
We want Ion Bank to take it over, it's a pretty expensive monthly fee for that, so I think that we were. That Ion Bank was going to take it over, it is something, I agree with you, we have to find a solution. My recommendation is, we get Ion Bank to lease it. on a long-term basis. If that fails, will we come back and revisit it? When they went to do it, someone else jumped the gun and leased it. It's, Metro North owns it and controls the lease, so,
Okay.
let's just, Nancy, would you remind me to, look into this again?
That's all. Thank you.
Sandra, you can bring that up as new sentence as your next appearance.
I did. I forgot on Monday, so I had to
Yeah.
bring it up now.
So this is what you call a loose end.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, last call for public comment. All right, hearing none, we'll go to Burgess comments. Jake, when you look very focused down there, we'll start with you.
I'm tired, it's a long day. We will hopefully have a public hearing for the vape ordinance next month. We're working a lot on that, we'd like to get that done. So that would target, a lot of the, some of the like illegal stuff happening and make it more challenging for people to sell these products to minors or sell like cannabis and other things illegally. And the farmers market has been going really well. So I just want to reiterate that if you've never been to the farmers market, I invite you to attend. There's been a lot of senior and WIC FMMP redeemed, and we have some vendors that are driving over an hour that have requested more dates that initially signed up to do like bi-weekly and are now coming every week because they're doing so well. And it's just really great to see. There's hundreds of people that come through every week. It's a staple to a lot of people's week. So
A lot of them are selling out, right?
yeah, almost every vendor sells out every week. So it's really become a great event. A lot of people bring in kids and you can literally do half the grocery shopping at the market. So I invite everybody to check it out. Really good.
Oh, really good, exciting.
It's excellent.
All right, thank you. Oh, good.
I would like to thank Veterans Council for an incredible program. Commemorating Independence Day and the 250th birthday of the United States. Andy did an incredible job all day with that. The layout in front of the gazebo with the flags was amazing. There's 4,000 flags out there, 4,500 flags out there. So breathtaking. Glad they pulled that off. Glad they pulled that off. Great.
I like those larger flags too, when they.
That was a great
They
idea.
talked about each of the states coming in. Yeah. And then I was standing next to, I don't know, Paul still out, but Paul Marshall, and I go, well, when I grew up, there was 48 states. And he kind of looked at me like, it's like, how old are you?
Well, as you know, as a veteran, as a member of VFW Post 201, I was really taken aback by the way that that Notuck in Sagan.
It's really nice.
I have to say that the downtown looked fantastic this weekend for the celebration for July Independence birthdays. They're set up downtown where the flags were, and the big flag on the town hall was great. And the mural where the kids were painting their little items to be implemented onto the wall was great. It was a good start. It was hot, but there were a lot of people there pitching in. So I think it was a good day all around. Well, with vendors as well too, because all the vendors and the stores were pretty busy.
Thanks to the Arts Commission.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Francis did a great job in most. He's the best. And then we did see Sandra driving around the cart, making sure all the vendors were in line and in place, so that was good. So yeah, it was a big day.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, Saturday morning, I had the pleasure of taking my 7-year-old grandson downtown here the first stop that we made was, take a look at the beautiful crest in front of the station. Took a nice picture of that. Then we drove over to the green and we walked around the green and it was just so freaking awesome. It was unbelievable. And the flag on the town hall was like, holy crap. It's like, that is huge. And it's amazing the amount of people while we were here, probably there at like 8:30 in the morning, walking around and taking some pictures, and the amount of people who stopped just to get out of their cars and walk around, they were in awe of how it looked. And Mayor, thank you, and thank everybody else that was involved with doing this, because it was huge. It was awesome. And you know what? Naugatuck should have been really recognized for doing something like this downtown, because it was a sight to see.
And despite the rain, the fireworks were pretty good, even though I watched them on someone streaming. I was home, but I missed all the rain, so that was good. Its fireworks were excellent.
The long story.
I'm
not gonna share it.
All right.
Did I make it early?
I will say it was my most harrowing experience as mayor of Naugatuck in 11 years. We made it. Rocky?
Yes, we went to the grand opening of Mercado Sips on Church Street on Thursday. And it was so good, I've already been back there, I got a drink. Really tried, they've got really good stuff.
Tell everyone what a dirty soda is.
Dirty soda is a soda with dirt in it, with stuff in it, with milk in it.
Cream.
Or you can have milk, but you have to have it free.
Well, coconut cream, vanilla cream.
So I got a Dr. Pepper with peach, vanilla, and sweet cream in it. It's always interesting. No, so I went back Friday, got another one. So I plan to go back again, so really give them a try, you like it. And I,
For Laverne and Shirley fans.
yeah, on Saturday, July 11th, from 10 to 2, there'll be a car show at the Historical Society.
Oh, nice.
Stop by and take a look if you like cars.
What they're like. My granddaughters were making dirty sodas on 4th of July at the house.
It's like,
How they make them with it? Same kind of.
Whatever the stuff that they got, they were looking at it. I mean, they're 12 and 13, so they were.
Good stuff.
They're already into it.
I make egg creams at home, so I'm gonna start making these.
We used to make them when I worked at a soda company.
Yes.
Yeah, when you didn't have like the regular sodas, you could use the syrups. and stuff. Yeah.
Very good.
When the
Not too sweet,
state.
not too sweet. Good thing.
Julie?
I don't think anything else that you haven't said. Again, July 4th was great. I did a little painting for the mural and I really enjoyed doing that too. It was a lot of fun. So it was good. Anything else? I think we talked about the senior center and everything else. I'm good.
Thank you, Kim.
I would like to recognize Tom Courier, who gave a lot of years of service and a great family to our community. It reminded me, it's just wild that he passed at the time that he did, when we were in this huge patriotic day, kind of thing that really makes me proud about Naugatuck. We do patriotism better than anybody. And Tom was really a big part of that. And if you want to question it, my answer is going to be, look at his kids, 6 of them, all public servants, everyone, teachers, state police, local firefighters. And they all take it seriously, and they're good kids. And they're not kids anymore, but they are to me. And Tom was just a good guy.
Great guy.
So I thought it was appropriate just to say thank you to him.
Mike?
I have no comment.
Hey, can I say one more thing? I was just gonna say that I have been diligently attending the zoning meetings and that, you know, there's been a lot going on and it's been, you really get a sense of certain projects or other things that are coming by being in zoning. And it was one of the longer meetings that we had this past month. I think we were there till 10. So a lot of stuff happening and it's been, yeah, it's been interesting.
Did Ferraris get approved?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
that's exciting, like there's a lot of huge projects,
Yeah.
you know, that are going on, and so. It's also interesting listening, you know, to people's comments, so.
Yeah, get it.
All right, let's go. Last call, there were comments. All right, item 43.
Motion to recess to executive session at 9:07 p.m. for discussion on the following. Real estate parcels ABC, Y, and Z, Norfolk Industrial Parks, 3, Great Rail discussion, Energy Park Data Center, Hershey property, and pending litigation.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
We done?
We're gonna reconvene the meeting of the Borough Board at 9:39. We have nothing that we have to act upon coming out of the executive session. Right?
Motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:39.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Awesome. I have